Hi guys, welcome to tonight's free webinar called Manifest Starting Your First Business. So we hope that you guys are staying safe and dry from the typhoon. And while we're still waiting to begin, while we're waiting for our speaker, feel free to share this webinar or this live video with your friends. Share this with your business partners, or you can talk in the comments. Maybe you'll find your business partners in the comments below. So make sure that you also like and follow MoneyMax here. Again, I'm San. I'm from MoneyMax, and we are very much excited to bring you this free webinar tonight. So, for today, we have a very exciting evening in store for you guys. We will be joined by Charm De Leon. So, you might know her from the YouTube channel Ready2Adult PH, or you might know her as an entrepreneur, the one behind Subo Mercado and other business ventures. So, if you don't mind me asking, guys, where are you guys joining us from? So I see here that Carrie is joining us from Mandaluyong. Welcome, guys. We have Cecilio here. We also have Ivan. So again, welcome, guys. We're very much excited to have you on this free webinar, and feel free to share this with your friends and your family and even your colleagues. So again, for tonight, for everyone who's just joining us now, we have an exciting evening for you. So our speaker here will be Charm De Leon, and she will be discussing with us tips and tricks on starting your first business. And guys, make sure that you also stay until the end of the program, because we will be having a giveaway, especially just for our attendees. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Okay. Again, welcome. We are seeing some more people join. Welcome. Ivan is joining us from Sultan Kudarat. Wow, thank you so much for joining us all the way from there. Again, we hope everyone is staying safe and dry, and thank you for joining us on this very rainy evening. So we're excited to bring you this webinar, and we hope you're as excited as us. So without further ado, or before I introduce our speaker, I guess I'll just share a bit more about who made this free webinar happen for everyone joining us here tonight. So Manifest Starting Your First Business is brought to you by MoneyMax. And MoneyMax is the country's largest personal finance platform with a mission to help Filipinos lead healthier financial lives. MoneyMax's free platform allows you to easily compare and apply for financial products that suit your needs and give you exclusive rewards in the process. MoneyMax also helps Filipinos make informed financial decisions through educational content on our website, social media channels, and of course, through events and free webinars like this one. And if you guys are just joining, and if you didn't know, MoneyMax is actually celebrating our ninth anniversary this July. So to celebrate, we're helping you manifest a better financial life. So make sure that you check out hashtag MoneyFest on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to see tips on growing your income as well as getting your finances in better shape. And again, for everyone who are just joining us, welcome to Manifest Starting Your First Business. So, this is again a free webinar. We will be joined by our speaker, Charm De Leon. And make sure you stay until the end of the program for some giveaways and for a chance to ask your questions to our speaker. And again, we know that you guys are excited to learn about starting your first business. We know you're excited to hear from Charm. So without further ado, let me introduce our speaker for today. Hi, Charm. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Let me introduce before we start. We know everyone's excited to hear from you, so let me give a quick introduction on Charm, who is our speaker for tonight. So, Charm De Leon is an entrepreneur and the founder of Ready2Adult PH. Charm holds a degree in architecture, and surprisingly, she made a career shift to entrepreneurship. She dedicated her early career to providing avenues for startups to physically sell their products and services through Pop District Bazaar, Sugbo Mercado, The Market, street food, and other pop up events. In 2019, she also partnered with talented people for a creative agency called Dual Story and started an online platform and YouTube channel called Ready2Adult PH, where she talks about personal finance, entrepreneurship, and adulting how to's. So, Charm, we're very much excited to have you on board. And without further ado, take it away.
All right, thank you so much for that. Let me just share my presentation for today. All right, there it is. So, today I was tasked to talk to you guys about starting your own business. And what that is really is igniting an idea, right? You have an idea of something that you want to do and you want to make that idea into reality. So, that's what I'm here to talk about today. And hi again, everyone. I'm Charm De Leon. I make videos about business and finance on YouTube, on social media. So if you guys want to know more afterwards, you can also check me out there. Alright? So today, I want to be a little bit ambitious and say that I want to first of all break down the steps in starting and growing a business, and also I want to convince you guys to start a side hustle. So for those people who have not started the business yet, this is the perfect beginner webinar for you, so make sure that you pay close attention. So I was already introduced, but to visualize that introduction, again, I'm the finance director of these companies on the left. If you're from Visaya, Cebu, you would know Sugbo Mercado, our weekend food market. And then also, since it was mentioned that I'm an architecture graduate, and I shifted my focus to finance and business, I'm actually an entrepreneurship and financial literacy advocate. So by saying that, it's also a disclaimer that I don't have formal background when it comes to, I didn't study entrepreneurship and stuff like that. But that's a good sign for you guys to know that whatever field that you're coming from, you can for sure start a business, right? Lastly, again, I'm a content creator and you can check my videos out on Charm De Leon on YouTube. So basically, I'm in the business of encouraging business. Most of my businesses, food markets, bazaars, even my branding agencies, we worked a lot with businesses. And with this, it means that my experience when it comes to my businesses is not just running my own business, but also talking to hundreds of startups and MSMEs and hearing from their end what their struggles are and how they thought about their business, the process of going through the starting to actually running their businesses, right? So I want to break a barrier, also another barrier, not just that you have to study business to be able to start a business. I already told you guys that I don't have a business background, and I'm running like 6 7 businesses right now, right? So you don't need that. Another is that I hear a lot of people say that business is in the blood. Like dapat businessman yung parents mo, or dapat Chinese ka para magaling ka magnegosyo. And I wanna break that barrier again, because I don't want that to limit you guys into thinking, oh, okay, my parents are not businessmen, so automatically I'm not gonna be a businessman, right? So my parents were also not businessmen. They were working in banks, in insurance, so they are not into business as well. So I want to kind of mention that as well, because a lot of people think that it's impossible for them to start a business if they don't have people in their lives who have started businesses, right? You can be the first business owner in your family. And then a little background about how I started becoming this entrepreneur, quote unquote, is I have this dream journal. I've had this since I was like in grade three, so 9 years old. And if you notice something here, this is a personalized sticker. I don't know if uso pa ba to ngayon, but nilalagay to lahat sa mga notebook, sa mga libro before, and it has my name on it and where I went to school, what grade I'm in, so just in case I lose the notebook, or it's easier for my teachers to know where the notebook, who owns the notebook. I actually became an agent of this company. I don't think this company is around nowadays, but for every sheet of sticker that I sold to my classmates, I sold to the yayas, to the parents waiting outside of school, I would earn like 27 pesos out of it. Another business that I did when I was in elementary is, if you notice, this notebook is covered with snippets of magazine. So that was the only thing that I wanted my mom to buy as a reward. I wasn't a very maluho kid. Like, I didn't want like clothes or like snacks and stuff like that. I just wanted one magazine per month. So I subscribed to Total Girl, and also Kizon pala, or 2 magazines per month. And I noticed my classmates borrowing my magazines. Like, di ba, dalawa, tatlong magazines at a time, and hindi na nila sinusole. So this became a business opportunity for me when I was in grade 5, wherein I rented out my magazines for 1 peso per day per magazine. So why am I sharing this to you guys, right? This happened like over 20 years ago. And it's not to tell you guys that you have to start young when it comes to being an entrepreneur, but it's really about finding everyday problems that you want to solve, whether they're your problems or not. And that's what I did. Like, I noticed like my classmates would always be jealous of my stickers, so I started selling to their parents. I noticed that my classmates would always borrow my magazines and never return them, so I charged 1 peso per day for them, right, to be able to read and borrow that magazine, which is a steal, because a magazine at that time was around 75 pesos, right? So I've started, and I've gone through over 20 businesses since I was in grade 1. I was selling candies and bubble gum to my teachers and classmates. I was yung mga sheet of tattoo or sticker sheets, kinakat ko sila, and I was selling them for more, like 5 pesos, 10 pesos, ganyan. But yung entire sheet, binili ko lang ng 30 pesos. I was selling cookies. I was selling pastillas. I was even at one point at grade 5 supplying pastillas to 5 sari-sari stores inside and outside of our schools. So I was very into making money talaga. And it wasn't because I wanted to buy something. I just really wanted to, at an early age, I got to hone, and parang I was really interested in trading, right? Selling something, buying and selling something. At college, at this point, I probably have started like and tried selling like probably 20 businesses already. I sold mandals, and it actually got me halfway through college as well, diba? I sold bags, I sold clothes, and really anything that I could get my hands on. Even like working under coordinators and event organizers to run events, weddings, debuts, raves. I did like a photography group. I did like branding and like modeling and like even blogging. I didn't really get much out of that, but I was just really there's so much that we can do, right? But to figure out what you kind of want to do, you kind of need to know the types of businesses. So the types of businesses which basically offer either a product or a service. So those are the two types of things that you can offer or you can sell, right? But there are two ways also to do that. You can either do physical selling or digital selling. So these can be really interchanged, right? A product can be sold physically, a product can be sold online, right? E-commerce websites. A service can be provided either physically, or a service can be provided digitally also, diba? So freelancers and stuff like that, or service like physical, like massage and like car repair service, etc. Right? So trying to understand that there's more potential to, if you've decided, oh, okay, I want to sell a product or I want to sell a service. Now the question is, how do you want to sell that product or service? Do you want to go the physical route or the digital route? And knowing that there are so many possibilities, especially nowadays with the age of the internet, that there's always an edge that you can you can always find a way to make yourself a little bit unique in a way, right? So I want to kind of bring you guys through the 6 step process of starting and maintaining a business. Now, this 6 step process is not just my own, but I personally can say that this is the steps that I took when I started my businesses. But I've talked to our tenants as well, and this is also kind of a similar process that they go through. First is that eureka moment. That eureka moment is basically you found a problem and you want to present a solution. I mentioned this kanina. It doesn't have to be your problem that you're experiencing. It can be a problem that you see other people are experiencing and you want to possibly provide a solution for that, right? Now, this solution comes in the form of a product or a service. We talked about this earlier. Every business offers either a product or a service, right? Now, I'm not here and telling you these things to say that starting a business is easy, because actually starting a business is not easy. It's actually pretty hard. But starting a business is actually very simple. And this is going to sound corny, but all you really have to do is start, right? I've talked to a lot of people who have so many good ideas for a business, but they get crippled with the thought and the, like, they get overwhelmed, right? They get crippled with the thought of actually starting the business and the risks that come with starting a business. But I'm telling you guys that it's simple, that all you have to do is start. And I don't want to sound like it's okay, like yan lang pala eh. Like, okay, by tomorrow I'll have a business na. No, I'm saying it's easy. I'm saying that it's simple and that all you have to do is start. Because when you decide to start a business, you don't have to decide, okay, tomorrow I'll start looking for a place na to rent and hold office and open this place and buy products and stuff like that. A lot of the times, like, people don't realize that ideas, when they stay as ideas, they're worth nothing. If you don't put action into your ideas, they're worth nothing. And the action that I'm talking about can be as simple as pinning those ideas, writing those in a notebook, right? I personally, when I start a business, I love using Pinterest. I try to visualize. I'm a very visual person, so I like to visualize the business and how it would look like if it was like a physical form, how the social media marketing would look like. I might be jumping like ahead of myself, but the thing is, it can kind of help me see what this business is going to look like in the future, and try to work my way backwards from there. So pinning those ideas, it can be like going through a notepad, a notebook. It can be like pinning photos or inspo for on a cork board and stuff like that, right? The important thing is you write down all those ideas, no matter how ridiculous they might sound. So the next step that you're going to have to do once you have that idea, and when you already wrote down all of those idea, pick an idea that you want to work on, right? And this is what I meant by just starting, right? Start by trying to develop that business. Try to see how feasible that business is. And by this point, you don't even have to put out capital just yet. This is research. Research, learn, and plan everything you can about that business. Has it been done before? What are the businesses that you are going to be competing with? Is it available in other countries abroad? Find a peg even as for your business. By peg, I mean that you can find a similar business model that you can possibly pattern from or learn from. And when I talk about research, learn, and plan, that involves product or service development, identifying your target market, and setting goals for your business. Now, when you research, develop that idea as much as you can. Find out about all the possibilities that you can, um, the angle of what you're going to take this business into, right? So are you going to be a business that's going to be selling A, B, and C, or are you going to be a business that wants to sell X, Y, Z, right? Try to figure out your positioning as a business, and then identify your target market. Talking about positioning also, position not just your products but also who you're catering that product or service to. So when you're trying to identify your target market, make sure that you learn about who this persona of a customer is. Identify their age range, identify their gender, where they're living, what their struggles are in the everyday, how much they are earning, and how much they can possibly spend for this type of product or service. Identifying the target market, whether, okay, for our food market, we're going to be targeting mostly millennials and families, because first of all, because we're not in an air conditioned place, we're going to be targeting, let's say, class B and C. Students, early working millennials, Gen Zs, and then families, because it's a great hangout on Sundays. Ganyan. So be as specific as possible when you're targeting your market. And then lastly is set goals. Goals can be in the form of financials or revenues. Okay, I target to earn X amount in 6 months, in 1 year, etc. Or it can be like how big you want your business to be, how many employees you want to have, how big your inventory is. So just set goals. And the thing with the setting goals is that once you achieve that goal, make sure that you have another goal ahead that's even bigger than your previous goal. So it's always about expanding and growing when it comes to starting a business, right? So setting goals doesn't mean it's an ending. It means that it's a stepping stone towards other bigger goals, right? Step number three, after that eureka moment and developing that business, is to sell your idea. Now this is the point wherein you ask the questions, what if? Okay, so you try to sell your idea. It doesn't always have to mean that you're selling your products or services, although you can sell a prototype. It can also be just trying to test out the waters without even spending yet. So it could be talking to your friends and families, telling them about your idea, and then hearing them out whether they think it's feasible or not. Because these people might be your future customers. So their input is very important. Don't get defensive. I know this is very common, and I felt this before, wherein I get defensive when people criticize and give comments about my ideas, because I feel like they're putting me down, but really most of the time objectively they're trying to criticize your idea so that you can find a way to make it better, diba? The what if I how we sold our idea like 8 years ago was that we posted this poster about a bazaar, Pop District Bazaar, the venue, the month and the year, not even the exact dates yet, and then we told all our close friends to help us share it on Instagram, on Facebook, and just really look at the response of people. Is Cebu ready for a food and lifestyle bazaar that is, that's going to cater to like online business owners, online shops, ganyan, right? So that's really really important to really try to test out your idea first before going ahead and putting out a lot of capital into it. In terms of products, what people usually do is to have a prototype. If you want to sell a bag, have a prototype. At least you can also test out your suppliers. And then from the prototype, photoshoot the prototype, try to sell that one product on social media. And then when orders start coming in, you can tell your supplier to also produce those orders. That's also another low cost idea on how to start a business that sells products, right? So step number 4 is branding. For me, branding is really important. Even before I started I was part of our branding agency, I figured out the importance of branding because of social media, right? So branding is more than just the logo. People usually think that okay, branding is just logo, but branding is also how you want to market your product, your strategy when it comes to handling customer service and packaging your products and the wording of your products. Just for example, this ride hailing app na yung branding nila is to be like your best friend, diba? You're like very casual yung tone nila when it comes to social media marketing and etc. Very witty, very funny, right? So that's part of branding. How you communicate to your audience, to your market is part of branding. So I wanna do this little exercise and I want to be quick with it now because I don't have much time. But if I were to ask you which cup of coffee you would buy just by looking at it, which would you choose, right? Majority of the people, I don't doubt, they will choose the second cup, the black cup that says coffee is like a hug in a mug, right? But what if I told you that these are actually like 150 pesos each? And the one on the left is drip coffee and the one on the right is 3-in-1 coffee. Now you feel like you've been cheated, right? So this is I wanted to do this little exercise is because I want to tell you guys that branding, yes, it's very important for first impressions. If you walk up to like a coffee shop, you want to smell coffee. You want this parang bustling like environment that just coffee shops just have, right? It's very unique to coffee shops. It's not intimidating, it's very warm, and it's very inviting. And if you get that branding, get that ambience, you kind of are lured into it. And then you found out that this coffee shop is selling 3-in-1 coffee that you can buy for like 10 pesos a sachet. Now you feel cheated. And this is why branding and products and services have to be aligned. You can't over brand, over hype, and over class a product that's really pangmasa, right? If you're trying to sell a product that's pangmasa, you try to brand it in a way that's in accordance to that market, right? So you don't want to be selling really high-end drip coffee as well. Like, at the reverse, you don't want to be selling high-end drip coffee for 150 and then not care about the look of your cup, for example, right? So all of these things, they are cohesive when it comes to branding. They are cohesive when it comes to starting your own business, and all of these things you have to think about because if you sold a really nicely branded 3-in-1 coffee, then the chances are people are not going to come back, and customer retention is also very important, right? So first, You don't want to turn off people by putting it in a like ugly packaging, that doesn't suit your brand. But also, if you put it in a nice packaging, make sure that you can live up to what people are expecting, especially if you're pricing it in a certain way, because this will, the first one will attract the people, will bring the people to you, but ultimately your product and your service will make people come back to you, right? So make sure that both branding and also the product and service is up to par to people's expectations. Number 5 is to plan your finances. Now, this is the boring part of, like, a lot of business owners will say this is the boring part of handling a business, right? But make sure that you're not in the business of losing money. That's that simple. Make sure that you are up to speed and on top of your finances, of your record keeping, of the supplier prices and everything. Make sure that you're not in the business of losing money, because otherwise you would be called a charity and not a business. There are a lot of free tools online. You can start with Google Sheets. There are templates even that's available to you guys. It can be a simple balance sheet wherein you can just put the item, like the date, the item, description, and then the in and out of money, right? So this is just a very simple like balance sheet, income statement, ganyan. Because the most important thing about running a business is to make sure that you are earning money, that you can cover your overheads, you can pay your employees, and etc. Right? So make sure that you keep track of your finances daily, weekly, monthly, and also annually. To make annual overviews will give you a better outlook on what might needs changing in the bigger perspective. Like, you might need to change suppliers, you might need to change your strategy in terms of marketing, etc. But daily and monthly are also very equally important. So basics in business finance practices. I think I have a video on this, but the basics of it is, first is to take everything into account. So when you are pricing products and services, take into account all the ingredients, all the raw materials, and all the intangibles, which brings us to like things that you feel like, for example, time is very like intangible. It's very hard to say how much your time is worth, especially for those people who are offering services. For example, people don't know how to price themselves because they feel like it's essentially free. I'm working on my laptop that I already own. I'm connected to a Wi-Fi in our house that's already being paid for. It feels like it's intangible, right? But once you start using these resources for your business, you need to take into account the cost of them, even if you're doing your business at home. So, for example, a cookie business, you might think that, okay, I just have to think about how much sugar, flour, butter, chocolate chip cookies are, and then that's how I'll price my products. But you're not taking into account the electricity that's being used for your oven, the wear and tear of your oven that you will eventually have to change in the future, right? That will cost like thousands and thousands. The Wi-Fi that you're using to respond and take orders, the time it takes you to make the cookies, the time it takes you to coordinate with delivery partners to deliver these cookies to your buyers. So a lot of people don't take these things into account. The time, the gasoline it takes for them to go and buy everything from the market, etc. Right? So make sure to take the tangibles and intangibles into account. So and the next is, don't take everything for your account. Now, it might sound confusing, but this means that when you're running a business, the finances of that business, the income of that business is not yours. It's the business's. Open a separate savings account for that business. Treat it separately so that you can be emotionally detached from that money, right? Don't a lot of I run a food market wherein we have over 100 food vendors at a time, and I run the finance department, right? So ako yung nagko-kolekta ng money nila, and the biggest, I think, mistake that they make, and I notice this when they start asking me to extend the deadline for the payment of the rentals and stuff like that, is that a lot of these people, with especially if they're new business owners, once they get income from their business, gross income, they immediately think that that's their money. They spend that money on things that does not, it's not for the business, right? They spend it on their wants and etc. So the problem with this is that you're not making the money roll over for the business, especially when you're starting out. You need all that capital to roll over and to grow your business. So a lot of people mix their money with the business's money, which is very, very bad. It's a rookie mistake, and that's why I highly encourage to open a separate bank account for your business right away, and keep a separate balance sheet for your business, right? Always treat that money, even if you are a freelancer, your service provider, right? You think that this money is yours, right? It's true. What you can do for that is you can pay yourself a salary that you decide on, that will pay for the internet, for your laptop, for your, if you're working in a coffee shop and stuff like that. Those are all business expense, so they should be treated as business expense. Okay, so even as freelancers, service providers, we should know the difference between a business's money and personal money. And also, lastly, have an emergency fund for your business. So this applies to personal finance as well, and it applies to the business finance as well. Have an emergency fund, because this will come in handy when dry season comes in, meaning the business is not so good, but you still have employees to pay, you still have electricity, office rental to pay. So make sure that you have 3 to 6 months of business expenses saved up for emergencies. So lastly, step number 6 is continuity. When you've started a business, when you're running a business for a few years now, a lot of people get complacent, right? They don't wanna treat it as a passive income anymore. They don't even go to their office anymore. They just hire some people to manage their business, right? But the thing with businesses are that you have to constantly evolve, because people get bored really fast, especially if you're a new business owner and you're a trendier business. Then you have to keep people's attention, right? Don't lose their attention. Even big companies who have been around for hundreds of years try to innovate. The word here is innovate, right? They change their logos, change their bottles, change their marketing, how they market their products and services. So always make sure that you try to innovate, because if you notice, a lot of new businesses close down pretty fast also, because they don't live up to the hype. They don't try to evolve their business to what the market wants. So that's very important when it comes to starting and maintaining a business. Okay, so just flashing a timeline of the businesses that I've started all throughout the years since 2015, so 8 years ago. I'm flashing this not to brag, but also kind of to share to you guys that it's not all being a business owner. Like, I think you've heard a lot of people say that, if you're an employee, you clock out after 8-hour shifts, but being a business owner, it feels like a 24-hour thing, that you're constantly thinking about it, you're dreaming about your business. And the thing about it, it's not always going to be successful. So among these 8 businesses that you see here, only 4 are around today. So, as a seasoned business owner, I am not immune to businesses failing. And businesses failing is part of being a business owner. It's part of being an entrepreneur. It's also about knowing when to let go of a business. It's really a balancing act that you as a business owner have to decide. You can consult with people, but ultimately you you call the shots. You make business decisions every day, crisis management every day, etc. Right? So that comes with the territory of being a business owner. So I have a lot of the business that I'm focusing to grow now is my content creation business, and I have a lot of videos also online on YouTube. If you wanna know more about businesses, this is a very short. I only have 30 minutes to talk about starting a business. And lastly, is I wanna acknowledge that in every business there's a team behind it, right? So it might start with just you, but you have to I have to acknowledge that the reason why I'm able to open new businesses is because I have amazing teams behind me, and you have to look for great partners that you're going to be working with. You're not always going to be seeing eye to eye, but the important thing is that you're going to treat each other professionally, and with respect. So yeah, to recap, the 6 steps of starting a business is ideation, that eureka moment, and then try to develop that business. Again, it doesn't have to cost money just yet. Just see how feasible that business is, and then try to sell, either selling that idea, selling that business, or try to sell the product by little by little. Start small, right? And then brand your business. Know who you are as a brand. If you're a sustainable business, then maybe don't use plastic bags for or non-biodegradable products to package your products, because you aim to be sustainable. These things do matter to your customers. And then handle your finances. That's step number 5. Handle your finances. Make sure that you are not losing money. And then lastly is continuity, innovation. Don't lose the attention of your customers. Always innovate. Add new items to the menu. Add new products, new designs, new services. Innovate on your services, etc. Always upskill, right? So lastly is, if you're wondering how to register your business, it's usually threefold. One is naming your business. So name registration goes to DTI or SEC. Barangay and mayor's office is for the business permit. And then lastly, for tax compliance, it's with the BIR. So you are dealing with at least 3 different government agencies when you register your business. If you're a freelancer, then maybe you're just dealing with the BIR directly. You can do that. But for majority of the businesses, you deal with 3 agencies. So yeah, that's it. If you guys have any questions, then I think we can answer a few.
Go
Thank you
ahead.
so much.
Hi, thank you so much for that very, very informative talk, Charm. So I hope that all of our attendees here, I hope that Charm's talk made you excited, and we hope that now you're very much prepared to start your own business. So actually, as Charm mentioned, we will have 20 minutes so we can cover all of your questions. And while we have Charm here, as you've seen, she is a very seasoned entrepreneur. She has a lot of businesses under her belt. So if you have any questions, then feel free to address all of those. Personally, I loved what you shared about finding everyday problems to solve. I love that it's a very intentional way to think about starting a business. And we have our first question here. So, our first question for today is, if I have only 10,000 pesos as capital, can I still start a business? So, what do you think, Charm?
All right, so that's actually a great question. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm actually all for starting a business with as minimal a capital as needed. Diba? That's why kanina I was sharing to you guys that if you're not certain yet, you can start this as a side hustle first. You don't have to quit your job. You can test out the waters first. It will tell you if you want to be a business owner, and it will also tell you if your product or service is actually feasible. So another thing that I shared kanina was that you can start a business with zero capital, actually. No, zero or very minimal capital. Now, zero is when if you want to test this usually works for services, right? So if you want to be a service provider, you can start with an ad on social media telling them what your services are, how much it will cost, and then from there, you can either ask for a down payment or payment upon delivering the service to you. Now, products usually it's really prototyping. Prototyping, it will it's so much cheaper as compared to mass producing a product right away that you're not sure that it will sell or not, right? So prototyping is a way for you to test out the waters, spend a little bit. 10,000 is more than enough. It depends on what product you have or what you want to sell, but 10,000 is definitely enough for that. Prototype the product. If you found a product that you want to sell, maybe buy a few of that product so that you can see the actual product, take photos of it, and then post them on social media, right? And then from there, you can get pre-orders, you can get down payment for an order. So definitely 10,000 is a very doable capital if you're starting out a business. With that though, you can always start small and then again roll over that money. Any income that you get from that business, always put it back to the business so that it can grow to even bigger and you'll have a bigger capital that you can work with. So yeah.
Thank you. And I love how you mentioned that it can actually roll over and keep the business going. So if we have another question here that we can address. Okay, Jam is asking, is there a right time to start a business? So what do you think?
Okay. So a lot of times starting a business, it's not really dependent necessarily on like the timing or the economy, and it can help, but a lot of time I feel like the timing that you want to get right is if you are ready, if because a lot of the business will depend on the entrepreneur at the beginning of the business. If you And what I mean by that is that if you're an entrepreneur that wants to constantly keep on working on the business, you're very dedicated to it, a lot of your time is in it, then that business will grow faster. But if you're someone who barely has any time for it, you have a full-time job, you're doing it on weekends, etc., then it will grow slower, right? It doesn't mean that you shouldn't start a business. It just kind of dictates how fast and how slow the business will possibly grow. So anytime is a great time to start a business. Just make sure that the dedication that you have for your business is equal to your expectation on how fast it will possibly grow. So yeah, start that business right now, today. Research kayo on social media. That's already part of it. So
I
yeah.
agree. At the end of the day, you just have to do it, right? Do we
Yes.
have any other questions? So Belle is asking, what are the things to consider when planning to franchise a food business? Interesting. So what are your thoughts here?
Okay. So this is really interesting because I don't typically recommend people to franchise, right? As your first business, especially because people seem to have this notion that once they franchise, it's going to be a sure win, right? Like people who just want to put in capital and it's going to be they want to be sure that it's going to be a successful business, but that's not how it works, right? So things that you have to consider is that will you still have time to manage this business? Because even if that's a franchise business, you didn't start it from scratch, you don't do recipe innovation anymore and research and development and stuff like that, you still need to be hands on at the beginning as a business owner, right? And what a lot of franchise, there are a few franchises na okay, sige, ito parang like if you once you put in the capital for it, you tutukan mo, hire the right people, it can work. But there are a lot of franchise businesses that are very I don't want to talk bad about them, but parang it's very mediocre. The products that they're serving are very mediocre, and I feel like if you want to franchise a business, you want to make sure that that product will work, right? So first of all, make sure that the products are good. Does it taste good? The quality of the products good? That's number one. Number two is the performance of other branches and other franchises of this particular brand. Are their financials good? Are they selling out good? Are people saying it tastes good, or are people saying it tastes awful? Diba? Those are very important. And another is location. Location is very very important for franchising, because there are a lot of situations and locations wherein franchises don't work. For example, in our food market, franchise businesses do not work. Even the biggest franchises don't work in our businesses. Like, French fries, gelato brands, the biggest of the big in the Philippines, they still close down because the sales are not enough. Because the people who go to our food market go there to um, discover new things, right? So we have since banned, well, not banned, we don't encourage franchises to open in our business. So groceries, food court might be a good place for those. Maybe high end strip malls, maybe not a good place for franchises. So location is the last thing that I would say. And lastly, if you have the time, again, a franchise business is still a business that you have to be hands on with. So make sure that you matutukan mo talaga yan at the beginning, especially, right? Hindi enough na mag-hire ka lang ng manager and then yun na yun. So it's not always a plug and play for those type of businesses. So yeah.
Thank you for that, Belle. I hope that answers your questions. Do we have any other questions from the audience? So, Robert is asking what advice you can give to business owners if they experience challenges on their business.
Okay. So as a business owner, you're going to be facing challenges on a daily basis. Like I said kanina, like you're going to be making hard decisions almost every day. That's actually the main role of a business owner, is to solve problems, right? Especially when you have employees, you have staffs already that carry out the everyday tasks, the routinary tasks. Our role now is to be problem solvers. So the thing with challenges, it's very broad, right? I don't know what challenges: financial challenges, supplier challenges, supply chain, etc. There's a lot of challenges that you will be facing, and the important thing there is to balance trusting your gut and making informed decisions. So as a business owner, I won't say that I've always made the right decision in the past, but just know that the decision that you will be making will affect your business greatly, right? So no pressure, but also you need to make decisions right now. It's always like that. So the thing that will make you more equipped to making those decisions is by equipping yourself with the knowledge. So always learn, always do your research, know the ins and outs of your businesses. And once you do that, once you equip yourself with the knowledge it takes to run your business and everything, the back end, etc. of your business, I'm confident that you will be able to make decisions that is right for your business. So yeah, that's the best advice I can give without getting too specific. Yeah.
We hope that answers your question, Robert. And I think, as Charm highlighted, it's about getting as much knowledge as you can. And the fact that you're here and you're learning from this webinar, I think you're already on the good track. So we have another question here from Glyza, who is asking, what are your thoughts in having a soft launch of a business?
Okay. So it depends what business you have, but a lot of times soft launching a business is actually ideal because it helps you, yung step number 3 natin, na selling the idea, right? It helps you be you're more forgivable when you're soft launch, first of all. So especially if you're still training your staff, like in terms of like a restaurant, for example, they soft launch because people are still under training, people are still getting the hang and memorizing the recipes, waiters are still learning the ropes. And the thing with soft launching is also just not just operation wise that you're trying to figure it out, but also the feedback that you're getting from the people. That's I think the most important thing that you can get during a soft launch. Are people saying your food is good, or are they saying that it needs improvement? Why does it need improvement? Maybe you can you can edit the recipe along the way that it can be more suitable to the majority of the people who might be eating. There is always going to be that one or two people who might not want your products or service, but or who might not like your product or service. But the important thing to note here and to sift through here is the majority. What are the majorities what are the majority saying about your business? A soft launch is very important for that. Like if you're soft launching an app, for example, getting feedback from people, getting people's reclamo on the Facebook page and stuff like that. That can actually help you make a better business, do a better business, right? It can help you with getting your operations better and improving your products and service. So that can actually be a good idea for a lot of businesses. So yeah.
We hope that answered your question, Glyza. Do we have any more questions? Okay, so we have here from Carrie. Ano pong business you recommend for a stay-at-home mom?
Okay. So, stay at home mom. Actually, a lot. Like, I feel like either you want to do a product or a service, you definitely can. With nowadays, like with e-commerce, it's so easy for people to work from home. Have the products, even with drop shipping, wherein you don't have the physical products and you don't do the inventory, you don't pack the orders yourselves. That can be a possibility as well. Freelancing, providing a few hours of your day or a few hours a week to provide to provide a service for someone overseas, or as a different business owner. You can, for example, doing the accounting for a business that's, like, you probably will never set foot on their office even in the Philippines, right? That could be a job. Or affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is so big nowadays, wherein you promote products online, and every time people click on those products, you get a little bit of commission. So it's very popular also in e-commerce and in social media platforms. So there's a lot that you can do. The question, I guess, is more of like what you want to do. Ano ba yung hilig mo? What are the products, services that you you can be good at selling? So I think it's more of that. Yeah.
Okay, we hope that answers your question, Carrie. And again, it doesn't have to be a barrier for you if you're a stay-at-home mom, right? So we have another question here from Jessica, and she's asking, how can business owners get advice or mentorship from other more experienced people?
Okay, that's a good question. So when I started out, I put myself out there. That's number one. You have to put yourself out there. Join conventions. There are a lot of programs by DTI, by these government run, like they love to support MSMEs. Get involved in organizations. And then you will start meeting people who are like-minded individuals, who are also entrepreneurs, who have started businesses from the past, and are seasoned business owners, right? Seasoned entrepreneurs. And then from there, you can either set up, if you really want to do a sit-down meeting, you can set up a coffee date with them, 30 minutes to an hour. You can do a Zoom call with them, or even just casually asking them questions in a social setting. That can also be a form of mentorship or getting advice already. So when I started out, I met with people. Some I asked like a sit down meeting with. Some I just asked casually, like, or some I just chatted up on Messenger to ask one or two questions. Um, it's really, I feel like it's like that. You have to broaden your network first of all uh, to meet more business owners, and then from there you can kind of choose and select the people and the questions that you'll be asking those people that might be similar to your situation. So yeah, get a bigger network and circle.
Yes, get out there, guys. And we hope all of these questions have been helpful for you guys. And unfortunately, we only have time for one last question, and that is from Ivan. So he is asking, this is a fun one. What fictional character would make the perfect business partner, and how would they complement your skills?
Oh, okay, that's quite interesting. Let me think. Okay, so this isn't. I think this is kind of. Hmm. Sorry. Let me think about it. I'm not very. I can't remember any. Parang I'm blanking out. Okay, so this is kind of cheating because I feel like, well, she's a real person. I don't know if you guys have watched the series Girl Boss. It's based on the life of this girl named Sophia or Sophie Amaruso, something like that. So she owned Nasty Gal, which was like a clothing business na she upcycles vintage thrifted clothing. So if you guys haven't watched that series, you definitely should. And I feel like we would complement well with each other because although we're both creatives, we have big ideas, big bold ideas. She acts upon things very impulsively, and I take things calculated. Very calculated ako when it comes to decisions. I handle the finances, so I am very meticulous when it comes to record keeping and making sure na hindi kami malulugi. And I feel like she's the type of person na medyo opposite, wherein she acts impulsively and she does things on a whim and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my answer. I feel like it's kind of cheating because this she's actually a real person, but uh the fictional character is based on a real person. I mean, so yeah, check out Girl Boss. There's also a book on it. So yeah.
Okay, oh guys, alam nyo na, for the weekend, you have something to stream, something to binge, girl boss. So once again, thank you, Charm, for sharing your time and your information and advice with us. It's been a pleasure to have you us with here. And before we let you go, do you have any last pieces of advice for our audience here?
Yeah, so I'm going back to kind of the beginning of my talk that if you have a business idea, start now, right? If you have a business idea, if you want to start a clothing store, start researching on Instagram about your possible competitors, your possible inspiration, people who own similar businesses of what you want to make. Research is a big part of starting a business, and you can do it for free through the internet. So start now, and once you start, you're going to fall in love with the process of it, and good luck. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. And can we have like some claps and some reactions for Charm in the comments below? So thank you again so much, Charm, for joining us for tonight. And again, if you learned a lot today and would like to learn more from Charm, you can follow her on social media for more financial learning. So we are flashing here all of her accounts. So follow her at Ready to Adult PH on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And you can also follow her on her personal Instagram accounts and LinkedIn account at the Leon Charmaine. So we hope you guys learned a lot from her. And again, Charm, thank you so much. It's been an honor having you here.
Thank you. I hope you guys learned something. Bye.
Thank you. And guys, don't leave yet because now we are getting to the exciting part of the program. So, is everyone here ready to fight for some shopping vouchers? So, for now, if I hope you guys took notes from Charm's talk, and I hope you guys learned a lot because what we will be doing for you to get 900 pesos shopping e vouchers is we will be flashing a question that is based on Charm's talk, and the fastest person wins. So the first person to answer correctly in the comments, the first person will be flashed on the screen, and that will be the winner. So are you guys ready? Are you guys reviewing your notes? Okay, so we will flash the question. Keep your hands on the keyboard. Okay, in three, two, one. Fill in the blank. There are two types of businesses: product or blank. So type in your answer, and the first one who gets it correctly wins the 900 pesos shopping voucher. So let's go, guys. Type it out. I hope you guys have your notes. Okay, so we see some comments here already. So who is our winner? Alvin Gale Tan, congratulations. So he answered correctly. The second type of business is service. So we hope that you guys learned it and took notes from Charm's talk. And Alvin, to get your prize, congratulations again. Make sure that you send us a message on Facebook with your full name, your email, and your mobile number so you can claim your prize. And for the ones who didn't win, it's okay. Make sure that you follow us and stay tuned for other giveaways and promos that we might have. So thank you guys again for joining us for today. We hope that you learned a lot from our speaker and even got to ask your questions. And if you want to learn more about our learning events, read the latest finance articles, or know about our latest promos and giveaways, especially for financial products like credit cards, car insurance, personal loans, then please sign up to our newsletter. So you can click the link here at bit.ly/MMX newsletter, or you can go ahead and scan the QR code right here on the screen. So, guys, we make sure to make your inbox fun. You'll get exclusive access or promos, and if you want to attend more events like this one. And we also hope that you can stay updated with us on MoneyMax's future learning events. So to stay updated and be in the know for future um, events that you can join, hopefully for free. You can follow us on MoneyMax on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. So make sure to follow us to get updates. So again, thank you for joining us on this rainy evening. We hope you are safe and dry, and we hope this webinar taught you a lot about everything that you need to confidently start your first business. We at MoneyMax are rooting for you. And once again, I am San, and thank you for joining us today. Have a great Thursday night.